Alright everybody, here we are. Welcome back. This is StarCast number 26. I am Pyrotechnics and I'm getting right back into this game. Alright, so today this comes from our Cast It as per usual. Should be a fun game. Let's take a look. It's TVP, Diamond, Masters, something like that. We'll load it up and we'll find out. Making sure everything is still good. Ah, there we go. That would have been bad. Alright, two Diamond players. This map is Star Station TE, the old Star Station we know and love, but with only cross spawns available. Let's get into introducing our players. Spawning in the top left-hand corner. He is Terran. He is red. He is the Walrus. And his opponent down in blue trunks in the bottom right. He is Protoss and he is Seigfried. Seigfried and the Walrus is actually, for those of you that don't know, one of the lesser-known acts on the Vegas Strip. If you've ever been down there in the off-season, after that horrible incident with the lion, yeah, I'm gonna stop myself there. Okay, logging right on in. Okay, so opening up for both these players, we're going to see very standard builds, no cheese. We've got basic pylon. We've got a wall-off, all the normal things. So I'm going to start not by overanalyzing what's going on with those two very normal, every game kind of things, but trying to decide what either player is going to do. If I'm Terran in this situation, I want to be doing a lot of damage to the Protoss and preventing them from getting to the late game. So, in order to do that, I'm going to try and harass them a lot, early, like very much so. How do I do that? Reapers. There is one gas going down for the Walrus. Should be able to get that out, and I think that was actually seen. No, not seen. Okay, not seen by Seigfried. If he manages to get back into the base, he can do that. But yeah. So that barracks will finish up nice and on time. Meanwhile, the Walrus is scouting Seigfried's base, notices one gas and a gateway coming out. So this will be a gateway expansion out of our Protoss player. Really popular build just against any race, to be honest. Lately, another pylon comes down on in and instantly 3 to gas. And the Walrus sees it all. He heads on out. So right now he has the advantage in the fact that he's able to see more than his opponent. He sees the base as it currently stands. And he's going to be blocking the expansion with an engineering bay. Oh man. This is really not going to make Seigfried happy when he comes out and sees this. But he's not scouting it. He's not heading out. He's like, you left me alone. Okay, whatever. And wow. What a sneaky little block. And he might actually finish it. No, he's gonna, yeah, there we go. Nearly finishes it. And then the Walrus goes right back into scout again. Man, there is absolutely nothing that Seigfried is aware is going on right now. He's just la-di-da-di-da, continuing to mine with his probes. And yeah, he really should be expanding. He's going to get the Zealot out, but it's still not going to be able to chase down the SCV. It'll get out of there in plenty of time. And now the Walrus has to know that, yeah, Warp Gate's going. And this probe, oh god. And now we have the Reaper coming out. Okay, so meanwhile, the Reaper's going to be able to harass a little bit. A Stalker is going to be able to stop this, but only that. There is now a robo facility in the works, so it's got to be careful. That Reaper needs to be able to kite. He's going to get in here, pick off a probe or two if he's lucky. He should be able to get at least that one. Don't get surrounded. Ah, there we go. So, well, that's happening. Let's take a look. Meanwhile, over at the base of the Walrus, who is building a factory. He's going to be doing this reactor transfer, and maybe not. Okay, no, he's just training a couple of Marines up. I thought Hellions, and then I realized there's no Zerg in this matchup. And then the command center's now coming down. So this is a pretty safe opening for the Terran. His wall-off is a little bit odd in that he built it completely out of supply depots, but that's still fine. He's got a factory. He can start pumping out siege tanks if he puts on a tech lab, but instead it looks like he's not building anything out of it right now. So just 2 Marines being produced at a time by the Walrus, who has successfully blocked off this expansion and significantly delayed the Protoss. So either one of two things can now happen. Seigfried is now forced into an all-in situation, which he could very well do with Immortals. Looks like he's starting. He's only got one gateway, of course. Or he just takes the late expansion, or he takes his third. But the Reaper is making sure that doesn't happen. Now, the Mothership Core is going to prevent the Reaper from doing too much more damage, but he still might be able to pick off 1 or 2 probes. No kills so far. That Reaper manages actually just to get 1 kill off, probably while I was looking away. And now we see 2 more gateways coming in. Warp Gate just finishing up, and still actually chrono boosting out instead of the Warp Gate research now that it's done. We're going to see a couple of Immortals. Huzzah! Could be Warp Gate drops, or Warp Prism drops, excuse me. And this is actually a very good defensive maneuver that the Walrus is performing by saying, oh, you're not going to get the jump on me. I'm going to put supply depots all around my base so I can see things coming. Meanwhile, Hellions continue to be built, as well as these Marines, but there's no map control being established. I'm really not sure why the Walrus is building these things. He is getting a couple of medevacs up, but this is just sort of an odd posturing of units. He just sort of builds a few Hellions and moves his factory over there to build a tech lab, presumably to get tanks. But 3 Hellions, not really doing anything with them. Kind of a really weird strategy. Except, okay, now I see what he's doing. He's going to drop them in the main. And this is horrible timing because right now Walrus is moving out onto the map. He has a whole bunch of sentries, a couple of Immortals, and 1 Zealot with the Mothership Core. But Hellions dropping in here. He's going to force this completely all in. Seigfried now prepping for an all-in himself. Oh, and the Walrus doesn't see it. He has no idea it's coming. There's a couple of pylons here. Well, he does see that one. He's got to know, I guess, that's coming out. But this 1 medevac is going to do tons of damage, full of its payload of Hellions. But there's a decent number of Marines still out in the field. Can they defend well? There's a Viking, presumably to shoot down that Mothership Core, but that's all it'll be able to do. These Immortals, not the greatest choice against Marines, to be honest. Yeah, Immortals have that awesome shield that prevents them from taking damage from, like, big units, but there are no big units here. There's just Marines, and now these Hellions are roasting these probes. Not quite as effective as it is against drones, but yeah, forcing the mass recall instantaneously. And if he's smart, the Walrus will pick up and go on back home because he really doesn't need to do anything else. Instead, he's just going to opt to leave his units and sacrifice them, but there were big losses there. Big losses, and the workers killed, well, only 4. Suppose that really wasn't worth it at the end of the day. Seigfried manages to clean that up without too much trouble, and now the Walrus is expanding out, salvaging a couple of bunkers there. Really didn't need to even build them, but he sends out a couple of SCVs for no particular reason, I'm not sure why. And there they go building. Okay, so another attack incoming here for Seigfried. This is going to be a little bit interesting. Oh, the Mothership Core, excuse me, blah, that medevac gets chased down completely, but here's a good defense. The bunker's probably a bit overkill, but these couple of siege tanks doing very, very well. And yeah, unfortunately, charging right on in, those stalkers not going to be able to do much. They have to get out of town. But there are a lot of reinforcement pylons around this map. A couple of zealots to be able to take the damage should be good. Here comes a big attack, but those zealots are getting cleaned up nearly as fast as they're getting in there. Bunkers, however, are falling very, very quickly, and the stalkers are now cleaning up 1, possibly 2 of the siege tanks. That one's still threatening, but Immortals taking almost no damage from those siege tanks, able to march on in there and clean up all of the forces of the Walrus. The second base is under attack, and now it looks like Seigfried is in the lead. If he doesn't lose all of his units, of course. He does reinforce with a couple of zealots and a stalker, and he has to get on out of town, though, even though he is able to do significant damage to the Walrus. Takes out most of his army, but against that 1 tank on the high ground, there's really not much these couple of Immortals, and, well, yeah, just now these Immortals can do. They're going to take a lot of damage, and of course they can't shoot up, so this Banshee can hit them with impunity. A couple of stalkers coming in, yeah, well, they'll be able to, but very, very small bands of units here. Not really much else going on, just a lot of skirmishes this game. No big, massive armies. The supply is very, very even. The income, however, is heavily in the Terran's favor, and I've got one word for you there, it's mules. But just like that, it evens out because there's no longer any way for the Walrus to mine from this base. He has to clear out because of this position that's been taken by Seigfried, but a couple of Banshees might be able to clean that up. But here comes the Observer to render that cloak absolutely useless. Meanwhile, more Banshees, more tanks, more SCVs on the way for the Walrus, who is deciding to switch up his buildings just a little bit. He's going to be pumping out, well, I guess Hellions or Widow Mines. And he's not building anything right now, but the relentless pressure of the Protoss at the front base here is keeping the Walrus from re-expanding. So at the moment, Seigfried maintains a comfortable lead, completely unabated at home. He's lost very few of his workers this game. He's actually not lost too many resources, even compared to his opponent. And honestly, I don't know what the Walrus is building right now. He's getting Hellions, which really aren't going to do much against this army. Hellions are just not that great against Protoss units in general. So he's got about 3 of them out now, but what are they going to do? It's kind of hard to tell. And I don't really understand quite what's going on there, but hey, what are you going to do? And Seigfried marches right into some tank fire, backs off, realizes, no, I'm not going anywhere with that. I'm just going to keep up the contain. And this lone SCV in the corner wishes it could do something, but it can't. Immortals now still pecking away at this supply depot wall, getting chased down by a couple of high ground Hellions and a Banshee cloaked. It's still not looking that good, though. Seigfried is taking a comfortable supply lead. He's supply blocked his opponent, and even though there is this one Banshee making life a little bit difficult at the expansion, it's just a matter of time before he manages to get out another Observer. Just a matter of time, I'm telling you, if he'll only build it. So, for the meanwhile, that Banshee is doing quite well, but it is running low on energy, and it will run out pretty soon. Seigfried actually taking some decent losses here and managing to pull the army back. Walrus has bought himself just a little bit of time, but that Banshee's cloak is almost done. So very soon, this will get cleaned up, unless it gets marched right on out. Oh, it's only got 8 energy. Still no photon cannon being built. 2, 1, revealed! And that Banshee has to clear out. Okay. So, decent little defense for the Walrus, but he's yet to expand. He only just now, with this scan, has realized, oh, there's nobody at my front door. Okay. I'm gonna get out of town, then. Okay. So, bit of a sloppy dealing with that harassment, but, you know, Seigfried clears it up. He's actually behind in supply right now, because of this relatively large force that's been able to be assembled by the Walrus, but it's kind of all mech. And it's sort of not even a lot of good mech, it's just very scattered about. There's a lot of Hellions that aren't really doing anything, they don't have any map control, they're not taking Xel'Naga towers, they're not clearing up these pylons. Well, now they're marching out on the field. There's a couple of tanks, which are good, which are very good, but tanks alone is not going to win. There's a couple of Banshees and a couple of Vikings, but this is such a weird composition, it's kind of hard to tell, considering this Gateway Immortal and one Void Ray push that's coming out of Seigfried. Well, now Seigfried's supply blocked, but this is a very weak force when put out in the open. And again, these Hellions, even though they're masked up, they're really not that good. And, well, Seigfried doesn't want to take that on right now. He is a little bit low on the income, just behind his opponent, because now, of course, the second base is being able to mine off of. Neither player really taking a third, so they're really committing to this mid-game scenario where they just kind of have these back and forth skirmishes without really realizing what the other one is doing. They've just subconsciously kind of built for that. Terran does have a couple of scans, so they'll be able to see, yep, wherever that was, right here, okay. There's nothing there. They'll be able to see that there's absolutely nothing there. And one Hellion goes bravely in to the Xel'Naga tower and then says, no, I want to see everything. And they'll be dead in a minute. Probes, meanwhile, getting 1, 2, 3-shotted? Not quite. And the army is revealed, of course. So this is a large Stalker Immortal heavy force. It's got 1, maybe 2 Void Rays? No, just 1 Void Ray. And against this army, against this Terran army of pretty much nothing but Hellions, a couple of tanks, and some miscellaneous air units, it's going to come down to positioning. These tanks can be really, really good if they get sieged up, all 4 of them. There's no Marines out on the field, and that's really what the Terran needs. He's committed to going this mech build, but he doesn't really need to, and these Hellions are just not that effective. They've got no upgrades. There's no blue flame. There's no light units to really deal with, but still, I mean, this is kind of a weird force from the Walrus. He's trying to maintain map control. Oh, that Immortal is going to get just shot to hell. Okay, they do have blue flame, excuse me. But, I mean, even then, look at all those Hellions took that long to kill one Immortal. It just doesn't seem like a very effective army, and I think it's going to get killed here. It's going to get trapped. These tanks need to be in siege mode ASAP. They're not going into it. They are taking out this Nexus, but they're about to get pincered by this giant Protoss force. No mass recall. He's just walking straight on in. This will die. This Nexus is so low, but right now all the units are turning around to fight. The Vikings doing an excellent job against the air units, but there's a significant Protoss force now advancing right back into the base. The Nexus goes down. Actually, I'm kind of surprised, but it looks like the Walrus has been able to take a big lead in this. A lot of the forces of Seigfried were getting cleaned up there, but now there it goes. Tables have been turned. Everything gets completely destroyed. The Walrus is down to one tank. He did manage to take this base off, but yeah, that's just about it. Seigfried now on the offensive. He has got still a supply deficit, but most of the supply for the Terran player is actually in workers. I'm going to see if I can't... Oh, accidentally showed the game timer. Don't watch that. Don't look at that. Excuse me. Well, in any case, you all know what's going to happen here. Seigfried may be a little bit down in supply, but the army, the active forces, is so small. It's 41 supply. And it's all Hellbats and Hellions and one Viking. And, well, to be honest, these Hellions just aren't that good. Especially not against the Protoss force. I really don't know why Walrus continues to build them. He just really likes them, I suppose. But yeah, even SCV is being pulled now. Walrus is in a bit of trouble. He needs more of these tanks. He needs Marines to be able to fend this off. Stim Marines could deal so well against these units, but here it comes. Big engage. It looks like the Protoss is actually being pushed back. He's in a bit of trouble because all of these SCVs are here to soak up a lot of the damage. And even so, heavy loss is still for the Walrus. Seigfried now being pushed back. These are some expensive Protoss units, though. He does not want to lose them. And warping in back at this one pylon that was never actually killed. Just a couple of Zealots, and now, all of a sudden, the Walrus is being pushed back again. He's not mining with these SCVs either, so he's also mined out of this base. He's got almost no income now. In fact, he's got absolutely zero income, which has just, of course, gone up. But another attack on the wall. This one tank will be taken out very, very quickly. There it goes. Bada bing, bada boom. This is a big attack. Seigfried able to take out just about everything the Walrus has. Even this Void Ray is unable to be attacked because now the only units left are Banshees and Hellions. Complete unit type counter. Yep, one Viking now on the field, but it's not going to do that much even against this one Void Ray. SCV is being pulled right on back off the line, but it doesn't even matter. The Immortals are marching in, taking out the tank. They do so much damage against those tanks. The one Zealot able to clean up all these SCVs very, very easily. And these Hellions continuing to be built. I'm not sure how many Hellions have been built this game. This is absolutely ridiculous. I want to count how many Hellions have died this game. Where's the button to do that? I need to find that tab that says it. I mark my words, I will find how many Hellions were killed this game. Well, a lot of units were killed this game. And a lot of workers. A lot of the Walrus's workers actually died too. But this is just such a weird unit composition, it's really, really hard to tell who's going to win this, but Seigfried just still looks like he's in the lead, and now even long-distance mining, he's not even going for another base. He's just saying, fuck it, I'm going to attack. I'm going to continue to attack everything you have. And now, evacuating the secondary base, the Walrus decides, oh, I'm just going to push mine over here. Okay. Kind of an interesting move, but sending SCVs out of the way, I guess. A couple of Hellbats still back at the main base. This is a very, very strange game, and the Walrus still has no income. Absolutely none. Very, very low econ for both these players who really never bothered to expand. And now a couple of High Templars. I actually missed when this was building, but there was a Templar Archives. Looks like Storm was researched at some point. No, it wasn't. Okay. No Storm. Alright, that's fine. This game is turning out very strange. So those High Templar are really only for feedbacks right now. And here we go. The army for the Walrus consists approximately of 7 or 8 Hellbats, a couple of Hellions, a Viking, and SCVs. And here comes Seigfried to clean it all up. I'm not even going to bother talking here. One storm would actually kill this. 1 or 2 storms, maybe. But it looks as though Seigfried is going to back off for now. And this one base might actually get up and running if it's not seen. And it's not seen. So this game will continue. For just a little bit. Both players mined out at home. Second base actually still has plenty of minerals for the Protoss, but and for the Terran, and it's migrating completely. So the income is just about resetting. Neither player really doing much attacking. The stealth expansion is keeping the Walrus alive. But sloppy micro plays like that are pretty much going to be the only difference. Wow, that Banshee gets away with 2 health. Man, this game is just so many close calls, one after another. Alright, well those High Templar are really only for Archons at this point. And Seigfried continues to build them. He does have a slight supply lead. The income has just about evened out again. Well, the income for the Protoss is still very low. He's not mining out of a lot of those bases. Where did his probes go? Are they long distance mining? I guess they are. Where did a lot of those probes go? Not even sure if they were even killed. Oh, and this expansion on the side has been discovered. The Walrus has to evacuate once again. Go, go, go! Run away, mules! But no focus on those. Just the orbital command will in fact go down if those stalkers get in there in time. They are being blocked by the minerals. Oh, are they going to? Yeah, they're going to be able to shoot it down. Down it goes, and now the Walrus is down to 1 base. His income, however, is still good. His tech is still mech. And he's continuing to build Banshees, Hellbats, and Hellions. And a tank here and there. So, as odd as it may seem, this game is still kind of even. The income is actually very low for the Protoss. He needs to expand, but he just hasn't. And Seigfried's going to say, alright, well, I'm going to just go and kill you now. He's got plenty of Archons. He's got plenty of Stalkers, and he's got an Immortal. And if he stops these little run-bys of these Hellions, he can do quite a bit of damage. Well, he's going to be able to, but unfortunately they're going to get into the mineral line and do a little bit of damage before they die. And yeah, Hellions just so annoying on your mineral line, but there down they go. And this is really what's been keeping the Walrus in this game, this constant harassment pressure, keeping Seigfried from moving out of the base, being able to just annoy the hell out of your opponent and keeping him from coming over to your side of the field. But now, 3 tanks out, only 1 sieged, 2 sieged, hopefully soon 3 sieged, and a whole bunch of Hellbats, which still really aren't that much. They have 1 upgrade. They have this ship weapons upgrade, or vehicle weapons, excuse me. And, you know, against this army, Seigfried's got some pretty big units. He's got Immortal, he's got about 4 Archons, he's got a lot of Stalkers. If they kite well, they can be great. The only problem now is these tanks. These tanks are going to be absolutely crucial in the Walrus's defense. And, well, here comes the tank fire. So what's going to happen now? Seigfried is going to go all in. Nope, he backs off. Those tanks are a little bit heavy for him. He needs to reinforce. He does not have the minerals to be able to deal with this. This one Banshee continues to harass the mineral line. Seigfried is still in trouble now. He is losing his supply edge significantly. He says, okay, screw it, I'm just going to go all in. And he does. And it looks like this might be where he loses the game. No army. And Seigfried just leaves. Alright, well that was it. So that was a really silly game. That was a lot of interesting stuff. And, yeah. Alright. I really don't know what to say about that. Hope it didn't drop too many frames. Alright, well that was it for now. I hope you enjoyed StarCast number 26. I'll upload this very soon. Until then, though, GLHF.